Absolutely. My parents lived for the first 2 years of their marriage in a part of France, which is right on the border of Alsace and Germany, in a small town called Nancy. And they really developed friends with these couples who owned inns throughout the countryside of France. And my dad came back home, and all of his friends started asking him where they should go when they were taking their trips to France, which people didn't do as often back then as they do right now. And so he formed a very close relationship with this group of innkeepers called Relais de Campagne, which later became Relais and Chateau. And as part of being the first American agent for Relais de Campagne, the sons and daughters of these innkeepers would live in our home. So we always had good food. We cooked every single night. Our dog was named Ratatouille. But we also had the advantage at a very young age of getting to stay in some of these inns, which were not at all fancy, but they always just felt so welcoming. And that was my experience, my real first experience with hospitality. Oh my gosh, there were so many rookie mistakes. I'm thinking back to 1985. One of the biggest mistakes was not being aware that the Halloween parade ended on Union Square. And the restaurant at this point was exactly 10 days old, October 31st, 1985. And our little bar, which basically has room for two people deep, was about 8 deep with people in all forms of dress, non-dress, roller skates, skateboards. Somebody took a bicycle chain and padlocked a 12-foot tall paper mache genitalia to our front awning. I learned to read what was going on in New York after that. Well, I think good design is really as important as any other component in the entire restaurant experience, because if you think about it, the only reason people bother going out to pay money at a restaurant is because of the three things we can do for you that you couldn't have done in your own home. We can cook and serve the food, we can do the dishes, and we can give you a social environment that should feel transporting and make you feel at home all at the same time. And so, to the degree that design actually makes you feel better, that's a great thing. To the degree that design can give you ideas that maybe you can even bring to your own home, that's a good thing. And then finally, if design can help you to have a better connection with the people you came with, that's a really good thing. All too often, sadly, design does quite the opposite. Well, I think our secret to service is understanding that service only gets you 49% of the way there. So we do train like crazy so that we get the right food to the right person at the right table at the right temperature at the right time, which is what service is. But we really work hard to hire for hospitality. And we think that the secret ingredient in our recipe is having figured out that service and performance get you 49 of the points, but hospitality, which we define as the way the recipient of that service feels, is 51 of the points. So we work really hard to hire people who naturally are at their happiest when they're making other people feel happy. I would say to anybody who's thinking about getting into the restaurant business, do it if you truly, truly love food and drink so much that what you can't wait to do is to share what you love with other people. Do it if you have an amazing work ethic, because there's not a day I've ever worked where I've looked at my clock saying, how's this day ever going to end? It's generally quite the opposite. There's just not enough hours in the day. And people in this business have really, really good work ethics. And then thirdly, I'd look at myself in the mirror and ask myself, am I competitive? Because it's a highly competitive business. There's always somebody who's willing to work a little harder, a little longer. They may even copy your really good ideas. So whatever it is, you got to love it. You got to love making people happy, and you got to be willing to work hard to win. I think most people have no idea how goofy I actually am. I think that the image of Danny Meyer as this hospitality guy is true. I deeply care about however you felt today, trying to help you feel a little bit better tomorrow, if I can do that. But I also just love having fun. I love eating unbelievable amounts of food. I think people are shocked when they know that. And I think that the reason that I love my business so much is that I genuinely love watching other people be as happy as I am with whatever it was that made me happy. There's something about Stephen Sondheim and his music, which I would say is the case with, for me, any good art, whether it's a book or a play or a piece of art you're looking at on the wall, which is, or even a film, which is that as you change and as you grow in life, that piece of art also changes. And there's something about his songs, there's something about his plays that as I go through life, I see them differently and they touch me differently and they move me differently. But Finishing the Hat specifically is a song about a troubled artist, Georges Seurat, and trying to explain that his greatest joy was making a hat where once there was not a hat. So quite apart from what that hat looks like is taking nothing and turning it into something. And I think in the restaurant business, we have that opportunity through design, through the teams of people that end up enlivening our restaurants, on the staff, through the idea, through the food. But you can take something where there was once nothing, like the lobby of an old hotel called the Martha Washington, which is now Marta, and it's a new community of people, like North End Grill, which was the lobby of a hotel called the Embassy Suites, and it's now enlivened with a community of people. And not only does the restaurant itself bring life where there's not life, or bring a hat where there once was not a hat, but it can then develop spokes outward into its own community, and then the community can become something quite special as well.